Hello, welcome to our Aspen Discovery monthly webinar. This month, we're going to talk about the Aspen Discovery app, LiDA. Aspen LiDA was developed from an app created by Christopher Zorn in Ajax Public Library in Ontario, Canada. It was first released to the Aspen community in 2021, and LiDA stands for Library Discovery App. Although Aspen Discovery is fully responsive on whatever device you're using, we thought having an app for the platform was a great idea as it allows each person to access their library and library account in a way that best suits them. As you can see from the slide, I've got two images side by side. On the left is Aspen as seen on a phone, just on a browser, and on the right is the LiDA app. I'm providing I can show my phone in the demo properly, I'm going to do in a minute. I'm going to try and show you both screens live as well. Most of the LiDA settings are managed through Aspen administration for library administrators. I'm not going to go through the steps to set up LiDA in this webinar, as this is very newly available to our customers. And so we would prefer you to contact us in the first instance and we will help you set it up. For users, any activity they do in Aspen will be reflected in LiDA and vice versa. There are two versions of LiDA. There's the community version and the branded version. The community version is free for anyone with Aspen to use, but the branded version has a cost involved to set up and maintain, as it is fully customized for the specific library. What we mean by that is that the branded version of LiDA only shows you the library's logo and branding colors. You will not see the LiDA logo anywhere, and customers will have to search for the library name rather than LiDA in the App Store. Whereas in the community version, you will see the LiDA logo as well as your library logo, and customers will search for Aspen LiDA in the App Store. You can see the two images on the left-hand side here, that the only logo available is the library logo and the app is showing the library colors. Another difference between the two versions is that in the community version, you can see all of the community libraries and you will simply select your library to log into. In the branded version, you'll only have the option of your own library. However, as you can see in the two images on the right, this is a branded version of a consortium. So you're asked to select a library from the list of libraries within the consortium. Other than that, they both function in the exact same way. So this is the point where I am going to attempt to switch over to my phone. So up in the top left-hand corner here, you can see the little icon for Aspen LiDA, and I'm just going to hit that now. It's going to ask me to log in and select my library. So if I just hit select library here, you can see that it's given me some options of libraries, but my library is West Main. So I'm going to type in West because I would have to scroll quite far to get to it. I'll just hit on West Main, and now it's asking me for my username. I'm going to type that in. I also have saved my password on my phone. If you can see just on top of the keyboard here, it's prompting me what password it thinks it wants to put in. I have far too many passwords. I can't remember them all, so I have things saved them for me. If I had forgotten my password, or PIN as it's referred to here, just under the sign in, you can hit on that and go through the steps to reset your PIN. But I'm just going to sign in for now. It's going to give us some nice little library facts while it's loading. And then we will be on the home screen. So as you can see, this is the home screen. And we have a list of nice little images of books. You can search up and down through them. You can go right and left. I'm really proud of myself that I got the directions right there. If I scroll all the way down, I can load all categories. And you can see that there's quite a lot logged up here. That's just, we've done all that through Aspen, and this is just pulling all of that through. So all of our different types of recommendations. And this one in particular in the middle of the screen, recommended for me. That's because I have reviewed quite a few things through Aspen, and it's now given me recommendations based on my reviews. If I go into any one of these, so I'm just going to scroll back up and scroll across new fiction. And I'm going to pick Radio Silence here by Alice Osman. It just gives me more details of the book itself. Like Aspen and even Koa, I can click on Alice Osman's name and it will give me the list of everything that the library has for Alice Osman. I'm going to go back into Radio Silence. I know that it's a book. I can see where it is on the shelf. If my big fat fingers will work. There we go. So I know that there are 2 couples available in the main library and I've got the call number for it as well. I can just hit that close button and it will take me back into the actual item details itself. I could add it to a list if I wanted to, but I'm going to place a hold on it because I'd quite like to read this. It pops up this little pop-up where it's asking me where I want to pick it up. And if I hit on that, you can see all the different available libraries that I want to pick it up from, but I'm just going to stick with main library. It's also asking me to select which account I want to check it out to. I have a linked account with R. Symington, so I could check it out to them if I wanted to, but I know that they're not interested in this kind of thing, so I'm going to check it out, or sorry, place a hold on it for myself. So if I place the hold, and it's telling me that my hold was successfully placed. I could go to my holds, but I don't want to. I'm going to go back into that in a later stage. I'm just going to hit OK. And then I'm going to go back to the main home screen. And I'm going to do that by hitting the Discover button in the bottom left-hand corner. So the next thing that I want to show you is the search bar on the main page. So just at the top here, the search bar, if I hit into that and I type, for example, Stephen or Step Hen, however you want to put it, and it just brings me up everything that it's finding with the name Stephen attached to it. I can sort it by best match. I can sort within West County, which is my library consortium, and I can filter. And I can filter by everything that you would expect to be able to filter. I can filter by fiction or non-fiction. I can go back, I can go in and out of these. I can filter by language if I wanted to. And I can update all of these settings for my filter. But I'm just going to go back there. And I'm actually just going to go back to the home screen itself, because now I'm going to show you the thing that I actually love the most probably about this. On the search bar over on the right-hand side, there's a little barcode icon. So I'm going to hit that. And you can see that my phone has automatically gone into my camera. If the first time you log into LiDA and you do this, it's going to prompt you whether or not you want to allow LiDA access to your camera on your phone. I've already done this, so it hasn't prompted me. It's just gone straight into it. And let's say I was having a look around a bookshop, as I am wont to do, and I decided that I've seen this book. I really like the look of it. I don't want to buy it though. I just want to see if the library has a copy of it. So you can see I've got a book in front of me here. I'm going to flip it over for the barcode. It's scanned the barcode for me. And it's telling me that my local library has a copy of it. And that's the one that I've just put a hold on. So that's perfect. It's exactly what I want to see it to do. The next thing we're going to do, and I'm going to stay where I am. I'm not going to go back to the home page because I want to show you that all of the little icons along the bottom of the screen are universal. They stay there regardless of where you are in the app. And I'm going to go into card, because I've placed Radio Silence on hold. I'm going to the library, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm going to use my barcode on my phone to do that, rather than having to carry around the actual physical card itself. I can just hit open barcode, go up to the desk, show them that, and they will check the book out to me. If I wanted to pick something else for R. Symington, I could just either swipe across to their barcode, or just, you see the way the little purple number moves across? I can either hit my names or just scroll across. Then if I wanted to scan the book out myself rather than go to the desk, maybe there's a large queue, I can hit scan and go instead. And again, it's asking me which book I want to person I want to check it out to. I'm going to check it out to myself and I'm going to hit start. Then I'm going to hit add new item. Now, I don't actually have any library barcodes, but if I did, I'd open them up, I'd scan the barcode, and I'd be able to check it out to myself. However, if your library has RFID tags, Scan and Go does not disable this, so you'd need to desensitize the items before you leave. Otherwise, you'd have all the banners screaming at you. Next on my list is account. So if I hit account, you can just see the little menu popping out from the left-hand side here. You can see that I have 2 notices that the library has sent me. I have a hold available for pickup, and this is the 4th time that they've told me this. I've got all of the usual things that you would expect to manage in your account. And if I just go into checked out titles, the first one here, you can see all of my checked out titles, sorry. Just letting it load. Please do ignore all of the overdue big red flashing images. I have a bad habit of just letting this roll over and not renewing them. I can reload all of my checkouts. I can renew them all in one go if I wanted to, and I can filter them by physical materials or by ebooks. If I go into one of the items, I can go view the item details and I can renew that individual book itself. If I scroll down a little bit and if I go to The Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet, I can view the item details, but if you notice this has changed, I can't renew this individual item because it's on hold for another person, so it won't let me override that. If I scroll down a little bit further and we look at Michael Paling's Hemingway Adventure, you can see that it is checked out to me, but underneath that, we've got Seeds of Greatness, Seeds of Plenty, Seeds of War, and those are all checked out to R. Symington. I can renew them for them if I wanted to, and I can do those individually as well. If I go back to my account details, I can go to titles on hold. And I can see that I have 1 title ready for hold. I was born for this by Elsa Osman, so I'd be able to go in and pick that up from the library. And I have 4 pending holds. If I go into adventures in color slide photography, for example, I can view the item details as always. I could cancel this hold, I could freeze it, or I could change the location. If you are part of a library where there's a lot of different branches, your main library might be, for example, the main library, but you work closer to, say, one of the other branches, and it's easier for you to go in there, you can change the location of where you want to pick up a hold from the app as well. If I go back into my account and I'm just working my way down this, if I look at lists, you can see that I have a couple of lists here. I've got my joy list, and I've just remembered that I was supposed to add something else to my joy list, which I can go back and do now. But I can edit it, I can delete it, I can add as many other things to my lists as want in the exact same way that I can on Aspen as well. For saved searches, exactly like Aspen, I have saved these 2 searches. One is for me, one is for Robin. It's not possible to save your searches through LiDA at the moment, but as with all things that PTFS works with, we are constantly working on them and developing them, and that should be coming pretty soon in the same way that it works in Aspen. If I go back to my account and I look at my reading history, likewise, I have it set up so that it does just record my reading history. So why don't I just go into A Long Way to a Small and Angry Planet and I view the item details and I add that to my list because I couldn't put a hold on it. So, but I want to read it again because it was very joyful and it's an absolutely amazing book. So I've just added that to my list. Did I add it to my list? Yes, save to list. There we go. And I go to my finds next. You can see that I've got 2 finds here. There's actually reserves, they're not fines, but I owe the library £1. I could either pay that all off in one go with PayPal or with my credit card, or I could unselect one of them and only pay off part of it at a time. And if I scroll down, you can see that our Symingtons here are well. I did mean to go back into reading history and show you that you can also delete them and you can stop recording your reading history if that's your preference. Then if I go back to my account, you can just see my personal details, which are very minimal for me at the minute. And you can see my linked accounts, which is our Symington. I could add another account if I wanted to say create an account for the pheasant in my garden. I could create an account for them, or I could just remove them all. And I can sign out. I can change my language here. And we have Welsh and German, or I could change it to dark mode. Generally, I prefer things in dark modes because it's easier on your eyes, but I will switch it back to light mode for now. And then finally, if we look at the more section, it's giving me a little bit of information about my life. I can look at all of the locations. I've got the address there. If I hit back, I can look at my preferences. So I could manage my browse categories. So that's quite a lot on there. And there's probably quite a few things that I wouldn't be particularly interested in. So for example, children's fiction. I'm not particularly interested in children's fiction. So I'm just going to toggle that off. And I'm also going to toggle off children's nonfiction. And if I go to the home page again and scroll down, load all categories, and you can see that children's fiction and children's nonfiction aren't in the list anymore. If I go to more again and back and look at my device permissions, this is where it's asking me, do I allow it access to my camera, my calendar, my location, my notifications, and screen brightness? I haven't allowed screen brightness. And the main reason why you would want to allow it for screen brightness is that not all scanners can scan barcodes particularly well if your screen is too bright. So you might want to reduce the brightness, and that will allow it to scan properly. If I go back, then the only other thing, I can change my language or my appearance again, like I could in my account, or I could go to support and see all of the details for support. Then the only other thing in the more section is the privacy policy, which is just our standard policy. And if you want to have a read through that, away you go. The message, if you have notifications and if you want to send notifications to your users, it will show at the top of the screen on LiDA, and it's demissable by default. Just be aware that if you're setting up any notifications, that a phone screen is obviously a lot smaller than a computer screen. On the second image here on the right hand side, you can see that there are different message styles. So we've got red for danger, green for success, but you can set those up how you want them to be set up. Provided you've given your phone permission to allow notifications, you can also have notifications pop up on your phone screen. In the Aspen Help Centre, there are LiDA sections that I recommend you browse through for help and advice. It has some great screenshots that make everything really clear. And just finally, as with Aspen and Koa, work is continually being done on the LiDA app. So more features and abilities are being added all the time. And we will, of course, notify you about them.